We hear from the book of the prophet Isaiah that the eyes of the blind will be opened and their ears will be cleared. And in the gospel, we hear Jesus take a man who is deaf and also has a speech impediment, and he says to him, "Be opened," so that he can hear. Now, on one level, that's what is obviously deafness or blindness, because if you can't see, that's obvious. If you can't hear, that's obvious too. That's on the one level, on the physical level. But there is also a deeper level. The deeper level of what can you hear that we need to hear, that's out there? What do we see beyond just our human eyes and the physical ability to see? I mean this in several ways. One way is, do we hear what's going on inside of us? Do we pay attention to it? For example, do we listen to our bodies and what they tell us? Our bodies will tell us, okay, you've had enough food, cut it out. But that dessert looks really good. Or our bodies might tell us that we need more sleep, but we don't want to sleep. We want to stay up and watch this other movie, or we want to whatever. But we just don't listen to our bodies and what they need. Or, even more importantly, we don't listen to our hearts and what they're telling us. Because sometimes it happens that we could be with someone, and when we notice that when we're with them, it's we kind of argue all the time, and it's kind of, it's not very much fun. And we notice that when we're with other people, well, we're having a good time and we relax. Well, if we listen to that, it says, okay, what does it mean? It means there's some kind of change that's needed here. I don't know what. There's all sorts of ways a relationship can change, but what does it mean? Listen to that part. Or listening to our souls. St. Augustine once, he was the famous sinner who turned saint by the grace of God and his mother's prayers. Okay. He said after his conversion, he said, "You were within me, but I was outside." Taking care of all that business and looking for pleasure and outside, but you were within me. I wasn't. I didn't know myself. You were with me, but I was not with you. Coming to an awareness of how far he was from God, who was right inside. He just didn't listen, didn't hear him. Deaf. And some years ago, I read a book by a man named Parker Palmer, and the book is Let Your Life Speak, Listening to the Voice of Vocation. And in that, in part, he speaks of the experience of of being surrounded by expectations, other people's expectations of us, as well as our expectations of ourselves, and some of those are not true. They're not reality. They're not right. Somebody expects me to be a doctor. I'm never going to be a doctor. Somebody expects us to be somebody we're not, or we expect ourselves. I want to be rich, so I want to be an accountant. But I really want to teach kids, but I can't get rich that way. So you got to listen. What's the heart saying? What is it that rises up from within us? And Parker Palmer goes on to say, he says, our deepest calling is to grow into our own authentic selfhood, whether or not it conforms to some image of who we ought to be. How do we recover and then discover our true self? So to all this, Jesus says, be opened. Listen. It's there. The messages are there. And in each stage of life, we kind of have to ask ourselves, well, what's my life about? For example, a college age, whether you're in college or not, but that kind of college age, it's a difficult time. I'll figure it out. I know what I want to do, but we don't know what we want to do. We're trying to find our identity and our way there. Well, I want to live and be independent, except I can't afford it. So I'm going to go ask mom and dad for money. So there's a little struggle that goes on there, as well as what career I should go in and with whom should I be. The struggle at that stage of life. Or let's take a look at midlife. Okay, let's just say that at midlife, we got a career, we got a job, we got a house, maybe we got a family or whatever it is that we want, single and established, and there we are. That's not a struggle anymore. And that's what we call the midlife crisis. Because what happens then is you say, well, I got all this stuff, but is that all there is? Is that all there is, my friend? Because I'm bored. I don't know. What's my life? What purpose? What meaning? Does it make any difference that I'm here? Be opened, Jesus would say. Be open. Or in retirement. Finally, I'm retired. I can sleep into 9 o'clock. I can get up and then go to Burgers, Bagels for coffee and a roll, and okay, here we are. All right, retirement. Great. How long is it going to take before you get bored? If you don't have something else to do. Don't find a new purpose and meaning in life. Who am I? What is my life about? At whatever stage in life those questions come. Listen to God, presence within, calls us and leads us to become something even more than we are now. That's the one thing. The second thing is to be able to listen to other people and to see who they are. We heard that second reading say, show no partiality. If someone's dressed richly and someone's dressed poorly, don't treat them any different. So here would be an experiment. You see a rich person dressed there and a poor person who's dressed poorly, and you say, go into there and change into the garb. You give them the same garb. So you got to take off of your rings and your expensive clothing, and you put on this garb and take off your poor clothing and wash your face and take the makeup off over here and wash your face. And then both of you come on out. And what do you got? Well, who am I going to favor now? I don't know. It's like, what do we got? We got two human beings. Blood flows through the veins just the same. We have the same kind of feelings, looking for the same kind of respect, looking for the same kind of purpose in life. Has their joys, their sorrows, their successes, their failures. You got two people. How do we open our eyes to those people? And Jesus says, be opened to what you don't hear and to what you can't see. It gives us, this being open part, gives us the ability to see the butterfly in the caterpillar, or the saint in the sinner. And I suspect that most parents, if not all, have some experience with this with their children. I love my children. I'll pour my heart. I die for my children. But you know what? They can't see in themselves what I see. Not that I'm going to tell them who to be, but they're giving up. They don't know. They don't know the talent that's inside. I'm not going to tell them who to be. But there's more to them than they're giving themselves credit for. How do we get that across? See more than what they see. How great to encourage it to come forward, to help them to find themselves. Or on another level, it's like the coach who's able to see in an undrafted free agent a potential starter. Talent's there. How can we encourage it? It's the same thing. So Jesus says to us, be opened. And in the third way, it's to be open to the situations we have in life. Because sometimes things fall down around us, don't they? Sometimes things just fall apart. Life just happens that way sometimes. however you want to look at it, and in all areas, it can happen. And so now what? I'm stuck. Jesus says, be open. Be aware. Listen to what's going on. So let's say that you're downsized and you're the one out. I know some people for whom that has happened, and without a doubt, it's a tough time, especially the longer it lasts, the tougher it is. But I know those folks I'm thinking about right now have gotten a new job, maybe in a little different area, and they say, if I'd never been downsized, I wouldn't have found this job in which I am much happier than I was before. Be open to what God calls us to do, who calls us to be. And another example for me would be several times now I've moved into a parish where there was 2 priests and then there was one. That was me. My previous assignment in Terre Haute, I was sent there with somebody else, and after 4 months, he had done what Parker Palmer had said, and he kind of got in touch with his own self, who he is and what he's called to do, and his gifts were someplace else. He spoke Spanish and had a heart for the poor, and he says, I got to go. And I couldn't stop him. So he went and made arrangements with the provincial, and he left. So there I am in this parish where there had always been at least 2 Franciscan priests, and now there were 1. Oh, like here. And there was just some stuff that the associate always did that I just couldn't do. So I was advised by some of my staff and by the priest who left. He said, ask the people to do it. So the weekend after he left, I said, here are 2 legal tablets. I need some help. I can't do it myself. I'm going to put them back on the back registers. Please sign your name. Somebody needs to help me. Please step forward. You know what? I got 36 names. I don't know why it wasn't 100 names, but I got 36. And they said, ask me to do, we find the where I might belong. Great. Be opened. And they were opened, becoming more, making the parish more than it was, just like we are and just like we need more people to say the same thing. I can do that. That is who I am too. So, Jesus rightly says to us, be open. Open your eyes. Open your ears. And hear this. Do not be afraid, for I have loved you. I have called you, and you are mine. Follow me.